another edition of Infield Fly, talking baseball with you as we get closer to September here. September call-ups. It's almost September call-up season in Major League Baseball as we get closer to the final month of the season. We'll recap what happened in the last week and tell you what's coming up this week in Major League Baseball. I'm Rob Fisher. I am a Cardinals fan, just a sad Cardinals fan this year. Although it was an exciting week for the Cardinals. We'll tell you why coming up here in a little bit. Keith Murphy is here. He's a Chicago Cubs fan, a wild card Chicago Cubs fan right now. Hello, Murph.
What's popping? It's nice in Wrigleyville right now.
That's right.
We'll get into that.
Oh, man. I keep hearing that song getting played. And Lang Whitaker, he is a Braves fan. And they're just...
stay in the course.
Copacetic would be a good word for
winning
Lang
series.
Whitaker. Just keep winning series. That's all it's about. We'll talk a little Braves as well. Top story this week is not a good one. We touched on it last week about Wander Franco. A person very close to the Wander Franco investigation is claiming it's very unlikely that Franco will ever play in Major League Baseball again.
Jeez, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
From young star in the making to possibly never playing Major League Baseball again. I reached out to our friend who is the PR director for the Tampa Rays, and I said, so what can we talk about with Wander on the show today? And he said, can you offer silence?
Wow.
The whole thing's weird. Like the way that friend's statement was worded makes me wonder if that means like maybe he'll play in the Caribbean League or some other league someday or something, but not MLB. So I don't know.
I think it might be more girls coming out.
Well, it sounds like it.
Because it's not like when you get into a situation like that and other girls, because we can't call them women, girls, start, hey, the same thing happened with me. Yeah. And they start talking and lawyering up, and I think that's probably what's about to happen.
Yeah, it's not a good story, and bad news for Wander Franco, who hasn't played with the Rays in over a week. Did not make their trip last week to San Francisco and has not been with the team since. So we'll keep you posted.
I mean, it's awful for the girls, clearly.
Terrible.
And then for fans of the Rays, it sucks too, because like now you're in this situation and you know your team's good.
Yeah.
And you have a homegrown guy who's like, you know, one of the main reasons that your team is great. Like you waiting for your stars to come along, and it happens. And then this happens.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've talked about it in the past, just joking of the greatest Rays of all time.
Yeah,
right.
This is a guy who's probably already jumped up to like 15.
Yeah,
and he's only
top 10.
Yeah, he might be he might have been top 10. Right?
Yeah, and he's only 22 years old, and you think, wow, this is actually a star that we have that maybe we hold on to for a long time, and then this happens. So
yes,
it's unfortunate.
It's indefensible. Like you can't even fans, like if you're a regular fan and you're trying to defend it and say, oh, the girl is this, not you can't defend something like that. So more news needs to come out.
Yeah.
But when you hear people say, oh, it's going to even get worse, then it's going to get worse.
Yeah. A couple of things I learned this week. Mike Trout and 10 other guys have won 3 or more MVP awards. The other 10 guys have played 512 postseason games. Mike Trout has played 3. And it looks like the Angels aren't going to get back to the postseason. Unfortunately,
they took Shohei out, right? Didn't he get taken out with cramps or something? Like something happened last game?
He didn't pitch this week either. They because of arm fatigue. So they skipped the start. It's amazing. It's amazing though.
Didn't they call up somebody too though? Like some kid who was like, they were like, yeah, might as well give him a shot at this point.
He was the first guy drafted this year. Who was called up to the big leagues, and it was pretty cool. In his first major league at bat, he got on base, and then Shohei hits a grand slam, and Shohei hits home plate and grabs the kid and puts his hand on his helmet and everything, and gave him a little shake, and so the kid was. He was pretty fired up.
It was nice playing with you for a month. I'll see you next year when I'm on the Mets.
Right.
if at all.
Exactly. Ronald Acuña Jr. Continues to battle for the MVP, and
There's no
Lang,
battle.
you've said it. You've said it for a while, Lang, that it's that time of year where people will start making arguments for other guys to just try and make it an exciting battle.
Yeah.
And you sent me the stats. Freddie Freeman and Ronald Acuña, their stats are almost identical. It's pretty incredible.
David O'Brien from The Athletic tweeted this out last night, and I texted it to Rob because it was like a graphic of how close they are, and it like their average on base, all that stuff is pretty much almost exactly the same. Acuña has half as many doubles, but more home runs. But then Freddie Freeman has 16 stolen bases, and Acuña has 56. That's. But I also think, Rob, like the thing that's not on this chart of all the stats is that defensively, like I feel like Acuña probably means more to the Braves than Freeman means to the Dodgers. And Freddie's a great defender and probably scoops a lot of balls at first and all that. But I think Ronald, having that right fielder with an arm like that and the ability to cover that much ground, probably means a little more to a team.
It's a harder position too, Lane.
Yeah.
Like right field, it's like you can't compare. Like first, they send you to first base when they think that you have issues with, fielding a little bit. Like, let's send that guy over to first base. You ain't sending any punks over to right field, man. Nobody's going there. Like you got to be running. You got to have an arm. You got to have some sort of stamina, like be able to see the ball in the air. Like, yeah, it's different.
Do you does Acuña get points in the minds of the voters for hitting leadoff or no?
I would say if I was a voter, I would say yeah, because as I told you last night, I think to me the eye test tells me that Ronald Acuña is the MVP of the National League. Yes. Despite all those numbers being similar, the stolen base number is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, you mentioned, Lang, the fielding and what Ronald does in right field, but hitting leadoff, he is clearly. If you watch Braves baseball, Ronald Acuña is clearly the catalyst of that team.
Yeah.
He's the catalyst of the best team in baseball. Period. He gets things started every night for the Braves. And I wouldn't say that about Freddie. And I don't want to disparage Freddie. Freddie's having an amazing season.
He's fine.
His numbers are showing it. But I just think Acuña is the guy who gets the Braves started on a nightly basis. And I don't think you can say that about Freddie Freeman.
I think Freddie can seek solace in everybody was piling on him last season. The crying, all of this stuff.
He wouldn't stop crying.
Whatever, man. You shouldn't have never left the Braves. They should have, you should have tried to work it out with him, and you was playing hardball, and you see what happened to you, and now you're crying, and you're not going to be the same player. He's better than he was with the Braves right now.
Yeah.
Which
is incredible.
I was also looking last season. Acuña played 119 games because he was still coming back from the leg injury and stuff, and he had other injury things last year. But last season, 119 games, he had 126 strikeouts and 53 walks. And this year he's played 123 games, and he has 70 strikeouts. So he has about almost half as many strikeouts as he had a year ago in the same games, and he has 14 more walks than he did last year. So by the end of the year, I mean, maybe he'll catch up on the strikeouts, but he's going to have like a lot more walks than he had a year. Like his plate discipline's gotten better. Like everything about him is so good right now that maybe it's the case of like, best player, best team. That's who gets the award. So.
Tommy Pham is back in the news.
Oh boy.
We all remember the fantasy football incident with Tommy Pham. Pham now is going after a fan. Apparently, somebody named Patrick Daly tweeted out that Pham has severe anger issues. He was waiting to go off on someone, and he has video of it as well, as Pham went after a fan and started yelling at him. This Patrick Daly guy continued his tweet and said, in the 3 seasons we've had our tickets, the guy who sits in front of us has never been disrespectful to a player. He takes light-hearted jabs, but nothing he has ever done has been personal. Well, Pham responded to this guy on Twitter and said, since this guy wants to block me and act like his friend is a model citizen, I'll put $100,000 up if he passes a lie detector test saying he didn't call me a piece of poop. If he doesn't pass, which he won't, MLB will ban him for life from all stadiums. So how about that? It's $100,000 for the lie detector test. If you pass saying you didn't call him a piece of poop, but if you fail, you're banned from all stadiums for life.
Isn't that par for the course? Calling somebody a piece of, you know what?
Have you watched the video? There's the video, like somebody has a phone video of it, but not the start of it. So is it worse if you call the person a piece of poop just like out of context, just to start it off? Or after you watch the video, they argue for I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. What if you call him that then?
Yeah. Right. What if that's the exclamation point? Like you've driven me to call you.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You pushed me this far. I gotta respond. The funniest part of the video though is the guy. I mean, I don't know, the guy who's the person in question. We still don't really know who that is, but that guy does have a great line at the end of it when they're arguing back and forth. And then Fam's in the on deck circle. He's about to go hit. That's why he's standing right by the fans. Right. And he's yelling at the fans. And the guy was like, "Hey man, go strike out." It's such a good line to end the argument. Hey man, just go strike out. So maybe that guy is sort of clever, and I would think he could come up with something better than a piece of poop. But yeah, it was a funny little video.
Yeah, well, good for Tommy Pham. Kyle Schwarber continues to rake, hit more home runs this week. He's had 540 plate appearances so far, and he's batting 179. No one in baseball history has had more plate appearances in a single season with a batting average so low. I mentioned it last week. Muncy and Schwarber have a combined 60 home runs, and both of them are hitting under 200. And it's crazy to me that hitting under 200 now is just, it's common. It's common, and it's not only common, it's acceptable. Schwarber hits leadoff. He's a leadoff hitter hitting $179. That is crazy to me.
I know he's leadoff, but I really want to look at the stats to see how many people are on when he gets to the plate. Like, are there like a man on? Is he an RBI machine? That's basically what I'm asking. Like, is he a guy that you can say, okay, we can kind of put aside the low batting average because this guy will get people off the base. He will clear the bases. Because that's the only way I can see that happening. I can't see him just being, I mean, maybe he's hitting the home run. His percentage of hitting home runs is pretty good.
He has 78 RBIs.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not bad.
32 home runs, 78
for a leadoff
so
guy.
That's for a leadoff guy. That's high.
Yeah,
that's exceptionally high, actually.
He's got 82 hits and 161 strikeouts. Wow, that's your leadoff guy.
But those hits are doing damage. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe he's just piling it on to the point where you're like, okay, we can look past the strikeouts.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, weird. I know you're showing your old school vibe here, Rob. I can see it. I can see it, Fish.
I don't mind.
Your eyes are burning.
I mean, look, baseball's kind of become old school now, right? Like, you want all the stolen bases, and you're trying to get guys on base, and it's quicker and all that. Like, the guys who were like Schwarber were like the Bob Horners, right? The guys from the 80s who were just all they do is hit home runs. The leadoff part's the part that I don't understand. Like,
right.
Like, maybe if he's an RBI machine, bat him third. Like, put Trey Turner at leadoff, or somebody who can, generate contact. I don't know, but it's weird that he's the leadoff guy. I mean, maybe like the argument is you want your best hitters to have as many at bats as possible, and that's why he hits leadoff. But
he's a 179 guy. He's not your best hitter. Jeez. All right. The Atlanta Braves this week. My goodness. Against teams from New York. Jeez. The Braves outscored the city of New York 58-13 in 6 days.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Part of that was 21 in one game, but
well, yeah. Swept the Yankees swept the Yankees in 3 games. 2 of them were shutouts. And then went and won 2 or 3 against San Francisco. Acuña's got his 28th home run of the season. Spencer Strider, 7 scoreless with 10 strikeouts. He's now 14-4. Pitching might be a problem for the Braves, but that guy hasn't been.
No, he's been awesome. Max Fried looked good too against
Yeah.
the Yankees last week. I don't know. We're just doing what we do. Even the game we lost yesterday to the Giants, we almost won. Like, it was in the bottom of the ninth. They had a man on base. They had like a chance to win it, and they couldn't get the guy in. But they compete, man. They're in every game.
I think you guys might have gotten the Yankee skipper and a GM fired that series.
I don't think it was us, man. They haven't won a game in like a week, right?
No, but
like,
you
it's not
guys,
just us.
that series was like, I mean, everybody was talking about how bad the Yankees were, but that series was kind of like, man, that they just stuck a fork in it.
Yeah.
That was it. Like,
Spencer Strider, how about this? Strikeouts in their first 45 baseball starts, 45 MLB starts. Strider, 392 strikeouts in his first 45 starts. Dwight Gooden in his first 45 starts, 392 strikeouts.
geez.
How about that? Same amount as Dwight Gooden. That's pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive.
His fourth career game with 10 strikeouts while allowing 1 or 0 hits. That's the most such games by a pitcher before turning 25 years old. Matt Olson, meanwhile, the 5th hitter in the National League with at least 80 walks and 40 home runs through his first 120 games of a season, joining Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, and Hack Wilson. What does that group have in common? You remember Hack Wilson? Hack Wilson was on those roids way back in the day, right?
That dude's from the 20s. They probably just sipping beer and eating pretzels and smoking the squares somewhere.
And who the hell is Nicky Lopez?
He's great.
Oh my goodness. First player to record 7 or more hits and 8 or more RBIs in his first 2 starts with the team since RBIs became official.
Where do you get these guys from, like, seriously?
He was Nicky Lopez was on the Royals. The Braves traded for him. He was a backup infielder, and they traded for him. And then Albies got hurt, and he had to go in the starting lineup, and he was awesome. Actually, but he's like, I think he's like 0 for his last 11 or 12. Like, he's been kind of ice cold.
Yeah,
the last series, but he's been playing a lot, and he pitched against, was it the Yankees in that series? He pitched one of those games and pitched pretty well too. So I don't know anything about him. I'd never heard of him, and then we traded for him, and of course he slides right in the lineup. I mean, I think that's part of it though. Is like a guy like him or Arcia, like there's so many good hitters around you. Like, you don't have to do very much. You get to hit with people on base most of the time. Like it makes it a little easier. I don't know. I think it's probably just right place, right time for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, he came in and was just on fire, at least at first, for the Atlanta Braves. But the Braves, you get the Mets again this week, and I just kind of laughed.
My wife, we watched with my son, and I've been introducing him to the Dark Knight trilogy movies, the Christopher Nolan ones, and we watched the first one, Batman Begins, and then last night we watched the first half. The Braves were off last night, so we watched the first half of the Dark Knight, the Joker one, and we got about halfway through it, and he had to go to bed, go to school, and all that. And then this morning, my wife was like, "Do you want to watch the other half of that tonight? Are the Braves playing tonight?" And I was like, "We don't need to worry about it, because we're starting the Mets series again." But the Braves do play the Giants again, and then at the Dodgers. There's a 4-game series with the Dodgers coming up in LA, which should be a pretty awesome series.
Very
I'm kind of
interesting.
excited about that.
Everybody talks about it, and we've talked about it. The Braves pitching struggles a little bit, but you get to the postseason, everybody likes to talk about you need the pitching in the postseason and how important it is in the postseason. I just look at their lineup and I just think, not that they don't need the pitching. I mean, the pitching still has to be good, but their lineup is just so deadly from top to bottom of the order that I think they can stay in any game that they play.
I hope so. They're going to need to sometimes, because like some of these relievers, Tyler Yates is not good, and Kirby Yates, I'm sorry, is not good, and he's like, yesterday Snicker brought him in. He hit 2 guys, he walked a guy, like loads the bases up, then strikes out 2 guys. So you get 2 outs with the bases loaded. I'm like, take him out, man. What are you doing? And then he walks the next guy, and that's how the Giants took the lead. And I was like there's some decisions Snicker makes, and I'm still kind of like maybe like all that hitting is awesome, but like I think there's going to be times where we could avoid being in that situation.
Yeah, I bet on that game yesterday. That wasn't good. And it's interesting. I think when for the Braves, at least at this point, and it's like this with a few other teams too, I feel like I should bet the Braves every single day.
Yeah.
I don't bet against them. I either bet the Braves or I just don't bet the game. And because to bet against them right now it's just silly.
If you could money line them, I would do it. But like I get scared of the over under. I mean the the runs or whatever the point run differential is on those games.
Because
there's games where they win 4-0. There's games where they win 21-3. You
right.
know, like I don't ever know what's going to happen with the Braves. Pitching is so unpredictable. It's hard to predict.
Yeah. Chicago Cubs split 2 with the White Sox this week. Won 2 of 3 against Kansas City. Christopher Morel hit his 19th homer of the year, walked it off against the White Sox. That was joy in Wrigleyville.
Yeah, that was a great moment. I was looking on social media and I just saw so many people actually filming themselves watching that moment, and it felt like kind of like the World Series when we won it. And
that felt like the moment, Murph, of if you didn't believe it already, that felt like the moment of we're in this thing.
Yeah, it felt like that. The fans were jubilant. I loved the interview towards the end where the translator was going to try to help him translate. He was like, nah, I'm just going to say what's in my heart. You know, we love the fans. Great win. Everybody knew he was taking off the shirt. He had to put the shirt back, his jersey back on because he couldn't do it topless. I mean, it's just, the whole thing was just absurd. People were just loving it. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, I feel like when a team makes a run to like win a championship or have one of those magical seasons, like you need those kind of milestones along the way, and that was one of them. But my other question is, Murph, like what social media did you watch that on?
Facebook, man. Facebook. Right. Don't out me, man. Don't be out.
I'm just curious. I didn't know.
Threads? Are you on Threads?
I'm not on Threads yet.
He's huge on Threads.
Yeah. I'm good.
In the Kansas City series, Justin Steele improves to 14-3. Cubs are 16-7 when Steele starts. Cody Bellinger hit his 19th and 20th of the season as well. Cubs are 9-1-1 in their last 11 series. Break up the Cubs.
I just want. I know, Lane. We were joking about Belly and whether or not what's he's going to cost, what numbers. Sign him for whatever, man. Sign that man for whatever he wants right now.
You want him that bad?
He's been our best player offensively. He like hits home runs in clusters. He hits them in big moments. He like gives us the lead when we need it. He's like probably been the most steadiest guy. He's like hitting. He's not only hitting for power now. He's hitting for average. I mean,
it's not Dansby Swanson.
Yeah, I mean Swanson's been good for us.
He's making
too.
the money. He's making that superstar money.
I mean, he's been good for us. Listen, man, we have not the guys that our GMs and what they've been able to do in signing these guys for contracts. And I know a lot of it was some small belly aching about whether or not Swanson was going to be worth it and all that. He's been worth it. So we've been pretty blessed with that, man. I mean, also we don't do the draconian contracts that you guys do over there. I don't know what that's about, signing people for the firstborns and stuff, but we're good, man. But I think we're good. I'm freaking out over pitching though. I know you're going to get to that fish, but that injury, man, I'm freaking out. I don't know. Our starting pitching is kind of shaky right now.
Well, yeah, Drew Smyly came out off the bench and got a win this week. Maybe he can work his way back into the rotation, but Marcus Stroman saying he's not sure when he'll return. He originally went out with what was called a hip injury, but now they're calling it a fractured rib cartilage. Ugh,
I'm just trying to figure out how that happened.
Yeah, he struggled before his IL stint. He was 1-4 in his last 9 starts with a 9.00 ERA. So, yeah, they could certainly use him back. I mean, definitely need him.
I mean, I think somebody was like, "Well, did he sneeze?" Because you hear these weird.
That's what I was thinking.
Like how did he get that? And that's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking it was some freak accident because he didn't get, he wasn't injured. He didn't get hit in the side or anything like that. It must have been exercise or something.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he can be back for the Cubbies sometime soon. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, they won 2 of 3 against Oakland.
Hey.
Jordan Walker hit his 11th home run of the year. That was fun.
Break him up.
But then lost 3 of 4 to the Mets. Ugh. That's painful. But Mason Wynn made his
Yeah.
major league debut. He got the call up. The Cardinals' big prospect got called up to the big league club, and it was great. He got his first big league hit, a little infield single, and the throw came over to first, and he was safe, and everybody was excited about it. And Pete Alonso turned around and threw the ball in the crowd.
Why did he do that?
As he said after the game, it was a brain fart.
Yeah, but like, what if somebody's safe at first base? You don't throw the ball in the crowd. You know what I mean? Like,
they do now
it
because
makes
they never return the balls to the pitcher because
yeah.
the ball was put in play, so the ball needs to be thrown out. And Alonso threw it into the crowd. The Cardinals were able to retrieve the ball.
I was just about to ask you. Did they get the ball back?
They did get the ball back. They
Good,
gave it to
good.
Mason Wynn. Alonso, after the game, was very apologetic. Said he should have realized it. He should have known the moment. And he threw the ball in the crowd. And he felt terrible about it. And the Cardinals did get it back, so he was very pleased about that. And Alonso, the next day, to his credit too, he gave Mason Wynn an autographed bat and also gave him a nice bottle of wine to celebrate the moment.
He
So
gave him his own autograph.
he gave him his own autographed bat. Yeah, here you go, kid.
I mean, the bottle of wine, that's classy. Yeah, but like, yeah, I'd be like, man, screw you. I don't want your autograph bat. What the hell?
Maybe Mason Wynn went up the next day and used it.
I would.
when he went to the plate.
I'd hit Pete Alonso with it. Like, what are you doing?
Also, as of now, Adam Wainwright has this is unbelievable. He has the worst ERA in franchise history by a starting pitcher that had at least 15 starts and 66 innings in a season. In his last 7 starts, Wainwright has an ERA of 14.82. And in August, he had given up 15 earned runs in 4 innings, had a 33.75 ERA. The biggest thing is, the season's is a down the crapper for the Cardinals, as we know. So one of the things this season that you'd like to see is Adam Wainwright get to 200 wins. He's 2 wins away and has been 2 wins away for 2 months. Can he get 2 wins? Just 2 measly wins.
I mean, you guys
just the season.
You just played the A's and the Mets. Like, it seems like
right. It should have been set up for that.
Yeah, if it was going to happen, should have happened this week. We're in the Pirates coming to town. We need some buccos. I think the Pirates are in town this week for the Cardinals, so maybe it can work out.
Maybe
for the
play
Cardinals
some AL
now.
Central teams.
Yeah, no kidding. Teams that just don't care. But yeah, he's stuck at 198. So hoping to get him to 200. I want to remind everyone to download the brand new official Grind City Media mobile app. Explore new ways to access your favorite GCM content, from your favorite shows and series to news and entertainment. Stay connected with exclusive content at your fingertips with the new Grind City Media mobile app, available on both the Apple and Google Play stores. Also, get the season's biggest games, biggest giveaways, and best seats at a great price with half-season plans for the Memphis Grizzlies. Tickets in high demand for the upcoming season. You can purchase a half-season plan that provides you with significant savings off of single-game pricing. And to get your tickets, you can call 888-HOOP 901. 888-HOOP is the number. All right, going around the horn in the National League, looking at the standings in the National League East, Braves with a large lead over the Philadelphia Phillies, followed by the Marlins, the Mets, and the Nationals. The Phillies, meanwhile, who are currently in a playoff spot, they split 2 at Toronto and lost 2 of 3 at Washington. Schwarber's now up to 32 home runs. Bryce Harper had a 2-run game, number 8 and 9 for Bryce Harper. Did you see the bat Harper used for the Little League game?
Was it Harper? I saw somebody had a pencil bat.
Somebody used a pencil bat, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Harper used the Philly Fanatic bat. It was like
wow.
lime green, and it was had Philly Fanatic stuff over it. But then, gosh, I can't remember who it was, used the pencil bat.
Yeah,
which I thought that was kind of cool too.
I saw that some of the Phillies players, Harper included, went to see the team from Pennsylvania play earlier in the day before the game. They were like in the crowd for that game. But then I was watching another game earlier in the week. It was a team from California, I think, and there was some player, I don't remember who, had given all the team arm sleeves. Like, it was a major league player who had sent the team all matching arm sleeves to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And the pitcher was pitching with it, and the umpire made him take it off like during the game. And I was like, man, that sucks. Like, like some major leaguer gave you the arm. I guess there's something about pitching with an arm sleeve, but they made him take it off, so that was funny. Also, can you bet on the Little League World Series?
I mean, if you did, you'd be a straight up degenerate.
Well,
So yeah, the
I-
question again: can you bet on the Little League World Series?
I was looking because I like Curacao, man. Those kids are good.
You're a big fan.
I'm confident with Curacao. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know there was instant replay in the Little League World Series.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh
It
my
like totally
God.
breaks up. It's like worse than MLB. Like because
Yeah.
in MLB, they just put on the headset and they wait for New York to tell them what the call is. And on the Little League thing, the umpire runs over to like look at a monitor, and they're like having to like look at the thing, and it's takes forever.
Yeah, it's awful. Phillies, meanwhile, they did lose 2-3 at Washington, including the Little League game.
Yeah.
So not a great week for the Philadelphia Phillies. For the Marlins, not a great week for them either. They lost 2-3 against Houston, lost 2-3 at the Dodgers. Sandy Alcantara, however, did go to 6-10 on the season. Both of those teams now, the Phillies are the top team in the National League wild card. The Marlins are a game out in the wild card. And then the Mets are still alive. They're 7 back. They're not really alive.
That's not alive.
But Pete Alonso hit 3 home runs in the series against the Cardinals. And Francisco Lindor became the first Met to reach 20 homers and 20 stolen bases since 2008 when Carlos Beltran did it. How about
I
that?
saw a stat thing today, and if the playoffs started today, it would be the wild card would be Phillies against the Giants, and then the Cubs against the Brewers. And then the Cubs Brewers winner would play the Dodgers, and the Phillies Giants winner would play the Braves in the next round.
I mean, that's a pick your poison type of situation there. Right there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want.
Just get in, Murph. Just get in.
Just get in.
Yeah, who knows?
Get in. In the Central, Milwaukee, they were swept 3 by the Dodgers, outscored 14-3, but then they swept Texas on the road. Freddie Peralta, 11 strikeout game, improved to 10-8. Milwaukee, still the top team in the National League Central. They are ahead of the Chicago Cubs currently. How many games is that now? 3 games. 3 games. Cubs are 3 games back of the Milwaukee Brewers, but the Cubs are a game up on the Cincinnati Reds in the wild card. The Reds split 2 against Cleveland. They lost 2-3 against Toronto. Cincinnati has lost 12 of their last 16 games. So Cincinnati struggling a little bit right now. And in the National League West, the Dodgers, they continue to roll. They swept 3 against Milwaukee. They won 2 of 3 against Miami. Mookie Betts hit number 32, 33, and 34. The Dodgers are 17-2 in August and have won 13 of 14 games. However, they lost pitcher Tony Gonsolin. He's done for the season with elbow inflammation. So another tough loss. They're like the Braves, Lang, that their pitching's kind of just being put together. Now, they made the move at the deadline. Getting Lance Lynn was a big move for them to get an arm, a stable arm.
He's been great
in there, and he's been really good for them.
Yeah.
But their lineup is starting to come around like you expect this Dodgers lineup to come around.
Yeah. I don't care. I don't like the Dodgers. Nobody likes the Dodgers.
Of course. Look at you.
Right.
Look at the hate in your eyes. The hate in your eyes, Lane. Come on, man. That's going to be a good series, man. The next series you guys coming up with him, that's going to be a 6 series. That might be probably the series of the week.
I like, my favorite thing is when your team goes out west, and you have like if it was every night, I don't think I could do it, but having like that 1 week of games where like, the games all start at 9:30 and they're over, I guess now they'll be over a little earlier, but I love having the late night games for a little while.
I do too. I agree. The Arizona Diamondbacks won 2 of 3 at Colorado. Christian Walker with 4 bombs in that series. He's got 28 on the season. Zach Gallen improved to 13-5 with a win at San Diego as they won 3 of 4 against Padres. Arizona just a game back in the wild card. San Francisco is currently in the wild card, yet they lost 4 of 6 games this week, 2 of 3 each to Tampa and to Atlanta. Oh, and San Diego just continues to be a mess.
Yeah.
They did win 2 of 3 against Baltimore. And Yu Darvish did fall to 8-8. Yu Darvish, to me, and I don't think it's close, and what an accolade this would be, the best 500 pitcher in baseball. Yu Darvish, best 500 pitcher in baseball. Passed Hideo Nomo for the most strikeouts by a Japanese-born pitcher in Major League Baseball history.
Huh.
Mike Waka improved to 9-2. Blake Snell to 10-8. Fernando Tatis stole home and then hit his 20th home run. But they lose games, and not good for the San Diego Padres.
How many Cy Young finishes have Hugh Darvish had? Like how many, like top 3, top 2? Like, is he one of those guys when he was on like pretty well? Like, was he someone that was always hunting for it, or was this kind of fell off?
All I know is when I've watched him this year, when he is on, he's unhittable. He's unhittable, and then he just.
Because something happens with him. It's every season. It's like he starts off crazy. Like it's like you see him, you're like, I've never seen a pitcher this great before, and then next thing you know, he's just loses like 5 straight.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It'd be maddening if you were a fan of Yu Darvish, because you think he could be the Cy Young Award winner half the times that he throws, and then the other half he's Adam Wainwright. Yeah.
I said that of all those NL West teams, like to me, like we were talking about the Dodgers and how you expect all this. The team that's the most unlikable to me is the Giants because of Gabe Kapler.
Oh, I love Gabe Kapler.
Oh man, he's just. There was actually the Braves game yesterday. He was bitching about some guy getting a strikeout call. And then the next batter comes up and the pitch is a little bit inside, and Kapler's like motioning to the umps. Hold on, we're gonna. He was so mad, like they were gonna look at the replay to make sure the guy didn't get hit. And Frank Gore was doing the game on the Braves broadcast. You just heard him go, "Oh, geez." They showed Kapler like, calm down, bro. You're not a player anymore. Like,
yeah,
we're good.
Just
manage the baseball game.
Yeah. In the American League East, Baltimore leading the division. They lost 2-3 at San Diego. Jack Flaherty was rocked, but then they did sweep 3 games at Oakland like they should. Gunnar Henderson hitting a couple of home runs. He's got 21 on the season. The Tampa Rays right behind them. They're the top team in the wild card. They won 2 of 3 at San Francisco and 2 of 3 at the Angels. Toronto still in the mix. They DFA'd Paul DeYoung, the former Cardinal, who was acquired at the deadline. He's now no longer in baseball. Paul DeYoung. Wow.
Good for the Cardinals getting rid of him. I mean,
no kidding.
Is that bad?
Man. Boston, they're still alive. Rafi Devers hit his 28th and 29th home run. Justin Turner's got 20 home runs this year. And then Boston, they did sweep the New York Yankees, who have lost 8 straight games. First time since 1995. Asked about Boston sweeping them, Brett Boone said afterwards, "Well, they've just kicked our ass." That was his response.
I mean, what else can a man say? Like it's
true.
They like beating them when they're down too. It's like as soon as the Braves finish with you, then Boston comes in and just starts stumping you on the head. That's what basically what that was.
At home too. Yeah. And Garrett Cole lost again. And
Justin Turner almost killed John Sterling too. He almost hit him with a foul ball. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think that it was interesting to hear Boone. I mean, you could tell how frustrated he was in the post-game press conference, because he was also asked, where's your team at? How can they get out of this? How can they get back in the playoffs? And he looked at the guy and he said, the playoffs?
Basically.
He said, to get in the playoffs, we're going to have to be amazing. And he said, and before we can be amazing, let's worry about Tuesday's game and try to get a win. I mean, it's not good. It's not good for the New York Yankees right now. Luis Severino, by the way, pitcher. I couldn't believe all the things on Twitter when the Braves faced Severino the other day that were basically predicting the Braves to score 30 runs against the Yankees. Severino's now 2-8 on the season, and this is a Cy Young Award guy. But yeah, he fell to 2-8. In the American League Central, the only team that matters is Minnesota because they're at the top. They split 2 at Detroit, won 2 of 3 against Pittsburgh. Dallas Keuchel had a perfect game into the 7th inning. Remember Dallas Keuchel? Yeah. Remember when we talked about him last week and he was shelled?
Yeah.
Perfect game, broken up in the 7th inning against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that's where the Pirates are these days.
Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera had a first inning RBI double Friday. that gave him 1,868 RBIs, tying Mel Ott for 11th on the all-time list. He also had his 509th career home run, equaling former teammate Gary Sheffield for 26th on the all-time list.
Did y'all see that home run? It was so cool. Like
I didn't
the way that his team
Second homer of the year for Miguel.
You know, they put the thing on his head. You know, he's in it. It's so cool.
the first one was against the Braves, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a real going away party for Miguel Cabrera. I mean, it's when you watch him hit the doubles or when you watch him hit the home runs, he's just smiling every part of the way, and his teammates are cheering for him. He gets around the bases now like Bartolo Colon used to get around the bases. There's just no effort of doing anything unless he hits one to the wall or hits it out of the park. If he doesn't do that, he really just doesn't care. He
It's
is
like Pujols last year.
Pujols actually was playing well.
But I'm saying when he got on base, he couldn't run. Remember?
Oh yeah,
like,
no. But it's like Cabrera doesn't want to run. You know, like Bartolo used to be. He just hits the ball and it's like, oh man, now I gotta go.
Right. Do I have to run now?
I mean, thank God they're not in any race or anything because you couldn't play this guy at this point. But it's nice. It's fun to watch the little celebration for them. Meanwhile, in the West, Texas Rangers, they still lead the West. They have a 2.5 game lead over the Houston Astros, despite being swept 3 by Milwaukee. Max Scherzer passed Phil Niekro for 11th on the strikeout list. How about that? That's pretty impressive. Houston, meanwhile, they won 2 of 3 at Miami, and they were swept 3, however, by Seattle. Framber Valdez, who had the no-hitter a couple of weeks ago, he is now 9-9 on the season and fighting Yu Darvish for the best 500 pitcher in baseball. So Framber Valdez at 9-9. Jose Altuve hit his 2,000th hit. The fastest players to 2,000 hits, 200 home runs, and 200 stolen bases. Number 1 is Jose Altuve. Number 2 is Willie Mays. 3, Alex Rodriguez. 4, Veda Pinson. And 5, Ryan Sandberg. How about that?
Pinson.
What's the new number for hits now? Like the automatic number that will get you into a Hall of Fame? Because it's not 3,000 anymore. Nobody's doing that.
I don't know.
Like
maybe it still is 3,000.
I don't know, man. Nobody's
maybe
doing
2,500. I don't know. I mean, Altuve's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 2,200 and 200.
I mean, maybe the cheating thing will keep him out.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that might keep him out a little bit because we've seen cheating keep people out before, even though it wasn't really cheating. But that's for another day.
Soapbox time.
Yeah. Seattle, meanwhile, they won 3 of 4 at Kansas City, swept 3 at Houston. Julio hit his 21st big dumper at home run number 21 and 22. Mariners have won 6 straight and 14 of their last 17. How about this? Since July 1st, the Mariners are 20-5 on the road.
They picked it up, man.
That is something else. Meanwhile, the Angels lost 2 of 3 to Texas, 2 of 3 to Tampa. Shohei had a grand slam, his 43rd home run of the year, and the Angels pulled off a triple play in the 9th inning as they lost to the Tampa Rays. They also had a 14-run loss. Largest loss at home since May of 2009. Angels have lost 13 of their last 18. But Shohei's still one of our favorite players. Last 5 games, he's 7 of 19, a double, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. He's hitting .306, 43 bombs, 89 RBIs. Didn't pitch this week. But players with 40, I always love these lists with Shohei. Players with 43 homers, 17 steals, and 7 triples in a season. Babe Ruth, 1921, which Babe Ruth had 7 triples. Man, those parks they were huge.
Yeah.
Lou Gehrig did it in 1931. Willie Mays did it twice. And Shohei Ohtani has done it twice.
That's some crazy company to have, man. That's nuts.
Ruth, Gehrig, Mays, and Ohtani. How about that? Most home runs hit in a season with 10 games won as a pitcher. Shohei's done it 2 years in a row, 43 homers with 10 wins, 34 homers with 15 wins. Babe Ruth had 11 homers with 13 wins, and Wes Farrell, 9 homers with 22 wins, but no one touching Shohei's 43. Wes Farrell? Wes Ferrell.
All right.
Any relation to Will Ferrell?
I don't think so.
I
1931 West.
thought he was the lead singer of Jane's Addiction.
Is that who that is?
Perry Farrell? Is he
Oh,
saying?
Perry Farrell.
Yeah, yeah.
Julio Rodriguez. How about the week Julio Rodriguez had? 8-game hit streak for Julio, and in those 8 games, he is 22 of 42 with 5 doubles, 2 homers, 13 RBIs, and 7 runs scored. His batting average went up 23 points this week. He's up to 278 with 21 homers, 79 RBIs. He's the youngest since 1901 with 4 straight 4-hit games. Had 17 hits in 4 games, which is the most in baseball history. He's the first Mariner with 4 straight 4-hit games. He tied Milt Stock in 1925 at 4 for the most consecutive 4-hit games. Just the second player in history to have 20 homers and 20 stolen bases in each of his first 2 seasons. The other player is Bobby Witt of the City Royals. And the only player since 1900 to record 14 hits and 5 stolen bases in a 4-game span. Julio has become Julio again.
And it has to be asked again so people can have a perspective listening to the show. How old is he?
I
Julio?
don't
Yes.
know. Super young. Listen,
Because he's not 25.
I think 22.
He's
22.
barely 22.
He's 22.
Is he 22?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
22 years old. Yeah, and people were wondering what happened to Julio. Well, here you go. He's been unbelievable here as of late. Not a good week for Ellie De La Cruz. He was 3 of 18 this week, hitting 257, 10 homers, 27 RBIs, 19 stolen bases. But Cardinal fans hate him. I have a T-shirt that says "Welcome to the Ellie Show," and I was wearing it around a Cardinal fan who looked at me and goes, "Psh, what, the Ellie Show? Just a guy that can run real fast?" And that's like, really? I mean, let's see. Hits for power, has an amazing arm, great glove, hits from both sides of the plate, amazing speed. I mean, he's the definition of a 5-tool guy. And they said, no, Mason wins better than him already. I was like, what? Mason just got called up to the big leagues.
The ultimate homers out there in St. Louis.
Best fans in baseball. Just ask him. I am now 65 and 60 betting the Cardinals. I had a 6-1 week. Yeah, 6-1 week betting the Cardinals this week. So that was good.
Way better than the actual Cardinals.
Yes. I mean, it was tough. It was tough to bet against the Cardinals this week because they played the Mets, but I nailed it as they lost 3 or 4 to the Mets.
With that record, you would make the wild card ish.
Yeah.
You'd be a wild card team.
That's right. And I'm killing the Cardinals now. I mean, my lead over the team itself has gone huge. So that's good. This week, the Cardinals do have 3 at Pittsburgh. Come on, Wayno. Get 199. And then they got 3 at Philadelphia. The Braves, 3 with the Mets. And then 3 at San Francisco. And then it's the Dodgers after that.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Cubs got 3 in Detroit and 4 in Pittsburgh. It's a big week, Murph. Opportunities.
We got to Pac-Man it, man. We just got to gobble it up. Just go for it.
Yeah. San Francisco's at Philadelphia for 3 this week. Boston will visit Houston for 4. Toronto's at Baltimore for 3, and Minnesota and Milwaukee. 2 first-place teams will battle in Milwaukee for 2. Then this weekend, you got Texas at Minnesota, a couple of first-place teams there. A 4-game series over the weekend. And the Dodgers will be in Boston to take on the Red Sox this weekend as well. All right, that's going to do it for us, fellas. Another busy week in Major League Baseball. We are getting closer to September, and this National League wild card is it's pretty exciting. This race is really exciting down the stretch. The American League wild card seems to be settling down a little bit, and the division winners seem to be set, but the National League wild card, that's going to play all the way to the finish, and that's going to make this final month very exciting in the National League. So looking forward to it. All right, Murph, good luck to your Cubs this week.
Hey, man, thank you. And I know that burns you up as a Cardinals fan to even say that, so I respect it. Thank you.
It's true. Lang, good luck to your Braves. Take it easy on them. Take it easy on the Mets.
Stop signing people for their souls, Lang.
Yeah. Soul signings. In the Cardinals, let's just keep being obnoxious and thinking Mason wins the second coming.
On Wainwright.
Come on, Wainwright. Just
Two more
two.
wins.
Can we
Two
have
more.
a Wainwright watch for the remainder of these
Yeah, we should.
podcasts?
Absolutely.
Because
put 'em
we
in their
need
favorite
that,
players.
man. We need that.
player,
Like, come
section.
on, man. You got to get the 2. Getting the 200 is huge. I don't care what anybody says. People
Huge.
try to poo-poo it. It's not 300, but come on, man. 200 is huge.
Man, and the problem and what's scary about, not scary about it, but this was the discussion last week, that if he keeps pitching like he's pitching starting, which is just disaster, they're gonna have to take him out of the rotation and move him in the bullpen. So then you got to pick and choose your spots to maybe get him a win.
Exactly. Like he's like losing his chance to make those 2 starts if he plays like this.
2 more wins. That's all it takes for Adam Wainwright to get to 200.
They should pitch him every other game till the end season's over. Just wear him out. Like, who cares?
Well, he throws 88. It's not like that would wear him
Yeah.
out. Yeah. So he'd be all right. All right. That's going to do it for us here on Infield Fly. Thanks for joining us this week. For Keith Murphy, for Lang Whitaker, I'm Rob Fisher. We'll talk to you again next week as the Adam Wainwright countdown continues here on Infield Fly on Grind City Media.